Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Kershaw Iridium button lock that is made in the USA, which is confusing because the standard Iridium, the non-launch series Iridium, was originally manufactured in China. You can still buy that knife. It's got lesser blade steel. But yeah, it's a really nice knife. It's a really good budget knife. But then they made the launch Iridium, which was a USA-made knife in aluminum and Magna Cut. And now they have this one here, which is a USA-made button lock knife in Magna Cut and G10. It's a really well-made knife. It's just there's a confusing element here. We're going to talk about it. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Thanks to Kershaw for sending this in. This and all the other versions of the Iridium are available down by following the link down in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. Make sure your notifications are on. Let's speed through specs here real quick because I really want to talk about this. Overall length is coming in at 8 inches. Blade length is about 3.5. Cutting edge is about 3.25. Let's do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. So you can see here it's kind of, it's a little closer to the size of my Excalibur, I think, than the Shark Cub there. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. I think a little closer to the PM2 than it is the Para 3. And then finally, we'll put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Hogue Deca, which it's very similar to the Hogue Deca in terms of profile, blade length, all of that, but a little bit longer. How's the action? I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is one of the nicest button locks I've ever felt. This has that, you know, like with the Wii Zephyr, and there was was it the Acumen? Probably not the Acumen. It was the other button lock that was in the Zephyr family. It was just like somehow magically different. Like it feels like when I push this button, gravity is somehow pulling this blade back into the handle with impossible smoothness and precision. I know it sounds kind of dramatic because button locks inherently now are just boring, but something about this button lock, and yeah, their plunge lock here is acting as the detent. Something about this button lock feels spectacular. I really like it. That doesn't change the fact that button locks are just really boring in 2026. We've seen them all. We own them. Like I mean, most of us are sick of button locks. They work just fine. They're not the best locking system in terms of durability, and they can disengage during use sometimes. Sometimes because of geometry, and sometimes just because you accidentally push the button, right? When they're done right, they're fine as long as you're responsible with it. But yeah, a button lock is not usually what people beat down doors for anymore. But I gotta hand it to them. They did a really good job with this. It feels really exceptional. It really feels like a standout button lock versus a lot of the other just C-tier slop that I handle on a daily basis. So yeah, they did a really good job, and honestly, it feels great as a detent, and reverse flicking it or just forward flicking it, it really feels nice. Carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. We've seen this before. It is about the same, but this guy is contoured and feels really good. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. This is a very easy knife to carry. It's nice and compact, and is really a big knife for how small it is. Very, very big small knife, or small big knife, however you want to say that. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm going to get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. I believe we still have a T8 pivot, and then we got the Chicago ends of these screws over here with T6 heads, so only 2, but they are T6, and then T6 for the pocket clip, which is reversible. Not bad. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and do blade stock thickness and then weigh it real quick. I'm speeding through this because we've done this on other variations of this knife before. There's no reason to spend too much time on it. 117 thousandths. And then as far as your weight goes, I think this guy's going to come in at like 3.5 or so. Yeah, 3.6. Okay. Meat and potatoes time. It is nice to have a variation of this knife. It's not a crossbar lock. To my knowledge, they have not done a manual, non-automatic plunge lock on this knife before. We have our liner lock, we got our crossbar lock, and then we have the automatic one, which is a launch series knife and comes in at $180. It's a pretty good deal, right? Magna Cut. This guy is also rocking MagnaCut 62 to 64. They're doing a great job there. We didn't really talk about materials. This is a little bit of steels, a little bit of steel for the internals. I think you can see that little lip right there. Then you have an aluminum backspacer and the MagnaCut blade with G10 for the scales. It does look really nice. This is a nice G10, right? Credit where it's due. This knife has really good ergonomics. It's got the jimping in the spot that you want it. The edges are nicely knocked down. It's a very good daily EDC tool. And the blade profile is nice with Kershaw. It's really Kai USA doing, in my opinion, probably the best satin finish in the entire industry. I have felt that way since 2013 when I bought my first ZT. It's just incredible. It looks really nice. And I'm not somebody who likes a satin finish. Really big swedge here, and then nice, I'm going to call it a spear point blade. You can call it bayonet, whatever you want. It says Kershaw on one side. Got the USA logo on the other side. Kai USA. In-house design is what that symbol means. And then MagnaCut. It's good, right? This is a good knife. It's always been a good knife. It's nice that we have so many options. Wish that we could see something else besides button locks and crossbar locks, you know, and liner lock knives. It'd be nice, as I've said many times, to change your button lock knives to button-operated top liner locks. It would be nice to see your crossbar locks evolve into crossbar locks that utilize coil springs instead of omega springs, because it just makes them that much more reliable. So it's kind of confusing why they dropped this in a button lock, but it is cool to have another manually operated Kershaw USA made knife, right? And it's probably got the same price tag relative to like the Bel Air or Bel Air XL or Iridium Launch or any of the Launch series knives, right? Or the new bare knuckle. It's right. You're going to tell me it's right in between 150 and 190 bucks, right, Complex? Right? Right? No. For some reason, for some absolutely baffling reason, this knife comes in. Now, they had it a little higher at first. Everybody was a little, when I dropped the unboxing, people were like, this thing's coming. It says coming soon, $240. And I was like, what? Now, I mentioned in the comments, it's probably wrong. It's probably a typo. Like, it's not going to come in that high. Like, I was thinking like, okay, maybe they're going to it's going to be the same price as the Launch, maybe a little more, right? As of the time of this video, I double checked it. It is available and it is priced at $209. Why? I do not know, because this is no different than the Launch series Iridium, which is still $180. This is $30 more because reasons. Now, if you were to ask me what I really thought the reason there, I think that Kershaw's days of being able to realistically supply us with legitimately in-house USA-made knives for under $200 that are good designs and good execution are numbered. I don't think that they can do that forever. I think there's a reason that they are one of the few companies left executing at this level of quality and delivering at that price point. I think that price point is very swiftly getting shoved out. Now, will there continue to be companies who make knives for $100, $150 that are USA made? Yeah, but they're going to be noticeably subpar in terms of quality. I think Kershaw has really been trying to be that shining golden god for a long time. They've been succeeding and everybody loves them for it, but I don't think they can do it forever. I think, and I'm just guessing, right? I could have, Kershaw could come down out of the rafters and go into my comments and, hey, Kai USA, if I'm wrong, go down there and do that sincerely, and then I expect that comment to have about 500 likes on it, right? If I'm wrong, you just tell me. I'm guessing that we'll slowly start to see some of the more prestigious Kershaw USA made knives tripping over that $200 line, because at some point you have to start to make the move, and it can't be abrupt. It has to be slowly, and not just with one model, but a model here or there, and then slowly you creep the prices up with your other knives. I'm not saying I agree with this. I'm saying I've seen it happen. We all saw it happen with Spyderco. Benchmade was already way off on Neptune, drunk, just like, hey, how the heck did we end up out here? Woo! They're $550 narrows, And, you know, like even Hogue, we see them creeping up. I don't know what's going on with ZT. Like everybody's creeping up at their own pace, but Kershaw eventually will get shoved. Like, cause they've been so like well priced for so long, you know, and it's not like they just have to succumb to greed, which is how people will see it. Right. But people forget like 10 years is a long time in the knife industry, and prices only go up. Things only become more expensive unless there's some sort of massive technological revolution that allows for manufacturing to, which absolutely could be the case, right? Manufacturing costs could technically, you know, go down, and then it would be, I mean, it would be kind of hard to hide. I'm sure that they would try to hide that with this massive opportunity for profit, right? I don't know. Who knows? I'm not saying Kershaw's doing anything devious. I'm saying that the prices of, you know, running their company and buying materials to create knives are going up, and they're still making the same knives. They're doing a really good job, but eventually they're going to be pushed over that $200 mark. And that $200 mark is the mark where people start to become skeptical of value, despite the fact that things just naturally become more expensive over time. So on one hand, it's like, no, don't do that. Like always forever until I'm 95 years old and I'm on my deathbed and I want to buy another Kershaw knife. Like, I want them to still be the same price, which is totally unrealistic. Try to stay there as long as possible. I'd like that, but I think it's inevitable we're going to start seeing things creep up, and perhaps this is just that first thing where they're like, 209? Is it that bad? I don't know. I'm turning into Nick Shabazz there for some reason. 209? Yeah, it's not that bad. Not that bad of a price. And we got a button lock. I'm rusty on my Shabazz. Hey everybody, we got here the Kershaw Iridium button lock, plunge lock here, with MagnaCut coming in at 62 to 64 HRC. All right, I'm not. It's the same. They've been doing the same joke for years now. But yeah, I mean, like that's kind of where I think that's just inevitably what's going to happen. So, is it a bad knife at 209? No, but that price doesn't really feel great. That's a pretty big jump, right? Realistically, this should be the exact same price as the launch Iridium. It should be $180, maybe $185, right? That's what I think. So if you want to pick it up, you didn't really make a bad choice. I think it's just a little overpriced versus a lot of the other absolute bangers that Kershaw offers. So it'll be linked in the description either way. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.